Hey guys, so if you couldn't already tell, today I'm going to be talking about She by Tyler the Creator featuring Frank Ocean. Tyler the Creator talks about in tons of interviews how much he loves cool chords and chord progressions and things like that, and I'd say that I share this with him. And so I wanted to break down some of his chord progressions in his songs and maybe some other artists because of how much I love chords. I picked this song first for two reasons. One, I think the chord progression is really cool. But two, a lot of Tyler's earlier stuff, this was released in 2011 off his second album, Goblin. A lot of his earlier stuff is lower quality, not necessarily in a bad way, but just, he wasn't as experienced, he didn't have as nice equipment, stuff like that. So the production's a lot less polished sounding, I'd say. And also that is a characteristic of his production in general. But this song specifically, the chords are really nice, but they're not necessarily highlighted by the arrangement and the production because there's no bass, accenting the chords. There's just kind of like a bass kick drum that's not in key with the other chords. And then it's, a bunch of drums and weird synths and then rapping and singing over it. So the chords aren't really highlighted, but whenever I do hear the song, I get a hint of just the nice chord progression, and I wanted to really break that down and figure out what exactly it is. And so I chose to do the intro the way I did because when multiple instruments are playing chords or like completing the chord, it can be a little hard to hear exactly what that chord is. Versus on the piano, if it's just one instrument playing the full chord, it's much easier to understand and hear like the quality of that chord because it's just one instrument focusing on it. But like, if one instrument's playing one note of the chord and another one's playing some of them, it can be a little bit more confusing. I wanted to just, break down these chords completely for myself first and just play them on piano and then play the melodies of the song over it on guitar. And now I'm going to be analyzing them. I'm going to be playing the exact same chords that Tyler's playing on synthesizer in the intro, and so I'll just show you what those are quickly. So the first chord that Tyler's playing is an E major 7, which sounds like this. And so an E major 7 is just an E major chord with the 7th note in the major scale on top of it, this. And so he just repeats the 3rd note on top, but this is the essential chord, and this is just what he added and how he specifically plays it. And that E major 7 plays for 3 measures, which sounds something like this. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next chord is a D sharp minor 7, which sounds something like this. And so it's very similar to the E major 7, except it's the equivalent in a minor scale. So the 3rd is minor and the 7th is minor. And so just like the last chord, he has the 3rd on top, but again, it's the minor 3rd this time. And so this chord, the D sharp minor 7, plays for only one measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it goes to a D sharp minor 9, which is this. This chord is basically the same as the last one, except one note is different. The top note goes down a half step, and this is the 9, which is why it's called a minor 9. And so a minor 9 chord is just a minor 7 chord with the 9th note in the scale on top, which in this case is an F. So this chord plays for 2 measures, so it sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next chord is another minor 9 chord, but it's a C sharp minor 9, which sounds something like this. And again, it's just a minor 7 chord with the 9th note on top. And so the final chord actually was a little bit hard to figure out because all Tyler plays in the original is these 3 notes, which sound a little weird and a little dissonant, but it fits in the song. But anyway, these notes are a little unclear by themselves, but what I think it is a B flat major 7, which, again, the first chord was an E major 7, so it's just a major chord, but with the 7th note in the scale on top. And I just think it's an inversion of that, which means the notes are in different places on the keyboard. So this is the first note, this is the 3rd note, and this would be the 7th just below the 1st because it recycles. And so the way I figured this out was actually from another melody in the song. During the hook, there's this high synthesizer, which is playing a line something like this. And so all of those notes in that melody fit in with the chords that they're over, except the last one, which plays an F, which isn't in this original because these are the only 3 notes Tyler's playing on the other synthesizer. And so when I heard that note, I knew I should add that to the chord, and that completes the major 7 chord and just confirmed my suspicion that it was a major 7, because this is the 5th, and so we already have the, and that would just be, that's the new note in the melody, and then this just an octave higher is that, so it's that major 7 right there. And so I ended up adding that in the bottom, because that's the B flat, so I knew that would be the root note because the chord is a B flat major 7. The full chord progression, which you already heard in the intro, sounds something like this. So those are the chords of She by Tyler, the Creator, featuring Frank Ocean. I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdown and the intro. And let me know if you want me to do any more breakdowns of any other songs. It can be Tyler, the Creator, it can be other artists. I really like doing this because I like hearing the chords on piano. As I said, it sounds really nice and it's just easier to hear the chords. And so yeah, thanks for watching.